Hi again. So today we're going to chat to a couple who've already made the move to France. Ian and Gill bought a house with a separate gite and a large carp fishing lake about 6 years ago, and they've been running it as a successful holiday business ever since. They live in a very small hamlet near the pretty town of Rochechouart, which we can go and visit another time. I hope you find what they have to say interesting, and you like what they've created in the French countryside. Thanks. And what is it that made you move to France originally then? So you've been here how long?
6 years.
6 years.
6 years at the weekend.
Yeah, we had no real intention of coming here when we did. We had a business in England, outdoor activity centre, and in November and December we was going on holiday to Spain. And on the way back I just had a thought, let's just recce France and see what sort of property prices are and their availability and stuff. So we, on the way home from Spain in our caravan, we just sort of meandered up through the middle of France looking at houses.
We had always spent time in France though, on the way down and on the way back, hadn't we?
Yeah. I've always said it's my spiritual home, whatever that may mean. But that's it. I've always felt really comfortable here, and I've always not dreamed, but kind of thought that, yeah, what would it be like, sort of thing. Never any intention of actually doing it, but yeah.
So what kind of made you plump for this area? Did you look in other areas, or?
Well, we started off in the Pyrenees, didn't we?
Yeah. We worked our way back upwards, didn't we?
Yeah. We saw 10 properties, and this being the 10th. And because France is so big, and it's rural France, everything's like just spread out. And we were doing a lot of travelling just to get to the places to see them. And each one we looked at, we had a 10-second rule. We had to, as we came away from it, we had 10 seconds to decide whether we'd live there or not, or whether, and each one outdid the last one. So yeah. So everyone was usurping the previous one.
So yes.
It was literally like that. And then we got a phone call from you, presumably.
We did go back to see one twice, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah. They're all so fantastically different, offering different things, but.
And we were never meant to see this one, but it was you who rang and said the other one we were looking at wasn't a fishing lake, so it was no good. So how about seeing this one? And Ian was so worn out, he said, oh, let's not bother. And I said, we can't do that.
We can't let the estate agent down because we've already booked it.
Yeah.
But I was all for just going home because I was shattered. But we hadn't seen one with a lake. And we had no intention really of getting a lake, although I'm a fisherman, and it sounded good. But yeah, we ended up looking at it, and the second we walked through the place,
yes,
definitely. We've got to have it. Even though we weren't supposed to be buying anywhere, we had nothing set up at all, did we?
No, but we made an offer there and then, didn't we?
We did, yeah. And lied through our teeth about everything.
I'll cut that bit out. Yes, it was quite a difficult process, I remember. So how did you kind of find the buying process then? It was quite tortuous.
But the actual process itself, I don't see any difference to England really. In fact, it's easier, it's simpler because there are fewer rules. It's a kind of, well, this is the way it is, take it or leave it over here, whereas in England...
when you get the diagnostics report, it's up to you whether you're happy with that or not.
Yeah.
Nobody's saying, because of this you can't buy it, or...
Yeah.
Or you've got to have all this work done, or whatever.
Certain things, like the fosse and that, have to conform, don't they? But as far as the wiring goes and stuff like that, it's your choice.
And the regulations on the lake?
Because it's a pre-Napoleonic lake, there are very few regulations, so the only real one we had to fulfil, which was part of the deal, was we had to put a spillway in, a bigger spillway. They have which I've later found out is worldwide, it's not just France, but there's a thing called a 100-year flood, to which they anticipate that once every 100 years there's going to be this like monsoon type, and the lake has got to be able to evacuate a certain amount of water, so ours couldn't. So we had to build a spillway to accommodate the amount of water they anticipate.
Okay. And would you change anything about the way you kind of looked and bought? I mean, it sounds quite random. Would you? done it in a more cohesive
we could have
and
definitely
thought out
done
manner.
it. Yeah, we could have definitely done it in a more structured manner. We could have actually wanted to come here in the first place. Would have been the start.
I'm not sure. We spent hours and hours on the internet beforehand, and then I sent someone at Legate a list of all the houses that we liked, and then they arranged it sort of one day, and then a journey, and then 2 the next day, and so it was well organised in that way.
It was organised in the sense of the daily viewings. Yeah, I'll give that. But in the sense of what we wanted,
decision.
where we wanted to go. There was none of that. It was just, this is where we ended up. There was no like, oh, I'd love to go to Limousin or whatever. It just...
We
this
knew
was
we
the
wanted
nicest
countryside, really, didn't we? Or otherwise it would have to have been seaside. But by the seaside you tend not to get much land.
No, and well, part of it must be driven by price, because this property south of Toulouse would be 700,000 euros.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, it was all driven by
definitely.
price.
Yeah.
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 Swap our 2-bedroom bungalow for this,
Yes.
which is basically, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And how big is the lake then?
It's 6 acres, 6.5 acres.
Okay. And then
So
how much,
almost 3 hectares.
and then how much land have you got around?
25 acres, something like that.
And setting up the business, was that fairly straightforward, or?
Don't look at me.
The guys who had it before us had already set up a website,
Right.
just a very basic website, so we took over that and flowered it up a bit and did extra things, and then Facebook and Holiday France Direct and all those kind of things are quite easy to do.
Yeah.
And it's flowed in as much as we wanted it to, really.
Yeah.
It could be a lot bigger, and we could do much more than we do.
We don't promote the fishing side of it it's in our own right.
No, we kind of made a decision that you could put more huge fish in there and then all winter open up to fishermen, but we don't really want to do that.
Right.
We're quite happy having couples and families come who fish while they're here, and that's it. So the lake's not overfished and we don't have to work all year looking after them. And
Yeah, it's much better,
everything,
Yeah.
so-
There's
yeah,
big
so-
fish in there. They're up to £50, so they're big, not massive for France, but big enough. You know you've got one. But it's our lifestyle kind of thing that we're trying to get it to fit into.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. The funny thing is, when all the families arrive, one of the first things they ask me is, what can we do around here? Where is there to go? You know, what's to entertain us? And then once they've sat down over there, they don't move for the whole week.
Yeah, no one ever does. They might go out shopping and that's it.
Yeah, it's so relaxing.
And what would your advice be to other people who are thinking of buying in France, based on what you've done? Would you have any specific advice?
Relax and go with the flow, because there is a lot of administration and there is a lot of double signing everything, and you can get stressed about it if you let yourself, but actually it's just paperwork and it's just part of being in France, and there's so many other advantages that don't let that get to you. It's just, in the end, it'll all be worth it.
So that was Ian and Gill and their stunning place in the countryside. There are lots of things you need to know when you're buying lakes in France, which we can go over another time. But as usual, don't forget to please like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Cheers!